Do you see female clients? Are my boobs real? Do you pay taxes? Have you ever caught feelings for a client? Do I care if my clients are married or not? Do I during bookings? What will you do when you age out of this industry? Does your family know what you do? Today's episode is all about me indulging your curiosities.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see several women talk about what it's like to work in the world's oldest profession. We'll hear one woman say she has achieved the dream of her life thanks to this line of work, and how her husband fully accepts her. Get ready, because what you're about to see is not to be missed. I'm not asking for anything else, just your like, which really helps boost the content. Share your experience and wisdom in the comments. We always pin the best one for the community. Subscribe, and without further ado, let's get started.
Sex work saved my life, and I'm going to tell you why. If you told 16-year-old Taylor that in 9 years' time she's going to have a husband, 2 dogs, and she's turning 25 years old and she is excited for her birthday tomorrow and that she's actually here, I wouldn't have believed you. And since starting sex work, joy hasn't been in someone else's control, and I haven't had to wait for permission to feel it on my birthday. And it hasn't been able to be taken away from me either. There hasn't been any emotional manipulation. Well, there has, but it hasn't affected me. And let me tell you the reason for that. This job gave me the financial freedom to be able to get out of the place that I was in and to be able to go and explore and make a life for myself. And every year I surround myself with people that give to give and do not give to get back. And that would never have been able to happen if I didn't have the financial freedom or the freedom of time, which is everything sex work has ever given me. And I never thought it was possible to be allowed to give myself the permission to have joy on my birthday, which built confidence and self-worth, which created very important boundaries. And that saved my life.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
She's definitely daddy's little girl. It's interesting to hear her say she surrounds herself with people who give to give, not people who give to receive. Ironically, if I'm paying you for a service, of course I'm giving to receive. You know what I mean, brothers? The worst part is hearing her say she has a husband. What kind of men are out there nowadays getting involved with a woman who makes a living working the streets as a companion? Where's your dignity, man? Only a simp would accept something like that. Picture this. She gets home in the middle of the night and her husband asks, "Rough day at work?" And she answers, "Yeah, had to work overtime. It was really hard." Brothers, please, don't be that kind of man. No matter how beautiful a woman is, she's not worth it if she has no dignity.
I'm an S worker, and people always ask me how it impacts my dating life. And the first way that I noticed was people started to tell me way too fucking much about themselves. I'm talking like I would be on a first date with someone and they're confessing to me about their deepest, darkest secrets and fantasies and traumas and not really asking about mine. It felt kind of one-sided. And it used to happen more because before I started being a pro dom, I was a sex coach, or like I was in a coaching program. So I think a lot of people that I would go on dates with and they'd ask what my career was, and I would tell them that I was in this program, they would kind of treat it as like their own therapy session. And they would just tell me all the stuff that was like pretty premature for the first time we were meeting. And then because it was a date, they would expect me to like do all of the things that they wanted with them in bed. This happens much less now. First of all, now I'm a pro dom in addition to being a sex coach, and just being a dom, I've learned a lot more like how to set boundaries. And also, number 2, I just go on far, far less first dates. I won't go out with someone if they don't already know what I do. But it still does happen. And like sometimes I really like it. You know, sometimes it's interesting, and it is something that I do want to talk about. I mean, I do enjoy any time when it's not like a first date and I feel like I'm being used for free labor and then disregarded after because the person doesn't want to date someone in my field, but they like take advantage of it for that time being. So yeah, in this field, I definitely get a lot of oversharing. And I wouldn't say that it's influenced my view of other men or people one way or another, because everyone has their own sexual story and history and traumas and kinks and fetishes. Like everyone has that. So it's not necessarily the content of what they're saying. It's more just like the time and place. I'm going to probably make a little series on how this career has impacted my dating life. So this is just part 1.
Stop it. Get some help.
Then, these same women are the ones who say the past doesn't matter. But knowing what a woman does for a living does matter. It could be what saves you from getting involved with someone who might 1. Give you a disease, or 2. Ruin your life by bringing someone into it who could end up in a divorce, be a bad mother, or become a real headache. Also, remember this, brothers, no matter how nicely she tells you her story, she's also carrying a lot of bad experiences that are deeply imprinted in her psyche. No matter how much therapy she gets, there are things that just don't go away. Because you can escape everything except your own mind.
My first ever client messaged me upset because I talked about him. And now I'm going to tell you guys this as well. He was like one of my first ever bookings that I can remember. And like I haven't heard from this guy in forever. Last time I talked to him, he told me that my butt was too big and he wasn't going to book me anymore. Which, I don't know, back in the day, that was a compliment to me. But like, I didn't say anything personal about him. Like, he was my first ever booking. Like, of course, I'm going to talk about that. I did mention that he came out in a loincloth and made noises like he was fucking Tarzan from the jungle. So maybe he was upset with that. Or the fact that he, like, had my foot, like, touching his tonsils. I couldn't leave that out. Anyway, he's very upset and he has a lot of money. So I hope I don't have any repercussions from it. Boys ask like, oh my God, like you must get so many bookings. I do, but I also think it scares a large group away. I notice like the messages that come through now are like more freakish. One guy this morning messaged me. This is actually for a custom. He was like, he likes spy movies and he wants me to pretend to capture him. So like I'm the villain. I have to like do something to get 5 codes out of him. This must be another giant test guy because like after I get the codes, he wants me to just like pretend to sit on him and like scroll on my phone for like 2 minutes while he's like just passed out. But you know what? They're the ones that make it fun. I'd much rather that than the boring stock standard. Anyway, bye guys.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no.
Because of things like this, every time I see those Instagram models and women on the blue apps, living that extravagant lifestyle, expensive trips and 5-star restaurant dinners, I know that doesn't come for free. Don't fall for that lie. There's always a sponsor behind it. Let me tell you something. Many of those women need to have a really strong stomach because they do things for money with certain men that you wouldn't even imagine. That's why I'll say it again. Always look into a woman's past, so you don't end up with someone who has more miles on her than a car that's been working Uber for 5 years.
What makes a sex worker high end? I'm a sex worker. I'm getting ready for work right now. I myself am high end. The reason why I charge more than other people is kind of complex, so let's talk about it. One of the main differences between high end and lower end providers is that high end providers are almost always offering GFE, which stands for girlfriend experience, which is exactly what it sounds like. We're acting like your girlfriend for the time booked. Things like kissing and cuddling are all included. But even with that being said, there are mid-range GFE providers and then there's high-end GFE providers, and high-end GFE providers can charge double what the mid-end ones do. A lot of it can have to do with looks. You know, if you look like a model, you can charge more, but that's not a necessary factor to it. I think it comes down to 2 main points. One is that a provider who is charging this much should be offering a luxury experience. It should be professional, it should be discreet, the client should always feel at ease and not be worrying about anything because of the provider. The provider needs to have really good social skills, needs to know how to handle awkward situations flawlessly, and needs to be enthusiastic, professional, and consistent, which can be a really difficult part of this job. Another aspect of it is, can a provider fit into a high-class world? If a rich man wants to book a woman to go to an event with him or go to a Michelin star restaurant, he wants to know that she's going to be able to fit in an environment like that and know proper etiquette and not look out of place. Even if the date is just in a private setting, high-end providers market market themselves by showing themselves as high class. People often feel more comfortable with people who are in a similar class to them. So a man with a lot of money is maybe going to be more likely to book someone who markets themselves as high class. And with that being said, a lot of this really does come down to marketing. You know, why would you pay $3,000 for a Louis Vuitton bag versus $300 for a no-name leather bag? It's because of the branding and the marketing. Ideally, providers with really high rates should have all of the qualities or more than what I mentioned. But I have met girls that charge more than me who, in my opinion, are incredibly unprofessional and who do not care about prioritizing their clients. And I've also met girls who charge less than me and who I think should be charging more, but they don't have the confidence to raise their rates, or they're scared of changing the type of clientele they attract because they like their current clientele. I'm actually planning on raising my rates in October. I know that I'm really good at my job, and also in October, I'm going to have new photos and finally my own website, so I'll have more high-end marketing.
For those who don't know what GFE means, it's short for girlfriend experience. It describes a companion service where the woman acts as if she were the client's girlfriend or partner. I have to say it. Every man knows that a beautiful woman is synonymous with power. In nonverbal language, when a man shows up with a woman who's an 8 to 10 on the beauty scale, it's assumed that he's a man who has a lot to offer. Even other women notice that. And it's no coincidence. People say women are naturally hypergamous. They'll look for the best man they can get. Top 10% men often hire women like that to attend exclusive places. Kevin Samuels himself used to say that when he wanted to close a business deal, he'd go to dinner with a model as his companion. She would behave with class and good manners, and that made him come across as a high-value man. This is also closely tied to how you dress. A well-put-together image conveys status. Is this right? Maybe not, but the market exists. And as long as there's demand, there will always be women willing to play that role.
Women.
So there's a very undesirable part to Egypt, but it's not desirable because of Egyptians, but rather because of foreign women. And this is where old women come here for fun with young men. I kid you not, this happens. And it happens so much that it's almost normalized. I had a lady in my DMs yesterday that she follows me. She asked me, am I the drama? Am I wrong? And I'm like, well, no, you're not wrong, because it's predatory. It's disgusting. And it is, the P word, ocean, ocean. These boys know what they're getting into. They know that this is a transactional thing. The problem is that these women many times fall in love with these very beautiful young boys, and they think that it's true love. Now, what they will say is they will always tell these women that they love them, that they've fallen in love, give me money. And give me more money. And my mother is in a hospital. My father's in a hospital. And blah, blah, blah. And give me money. Give me money. In these cases, I can't blame these boys. How does an old woman like me think that if no man looks at them in their home country, they went through like this incredible metamorphosis on the plane ride, and they are just naturally beautiful when they get off the plane. What? What? No, these boys are after money, and these women are after, I don't know, feeling better about themselves, whatever. But don't make a mistake. If you're an older woman looking for a younger man, that man is after your money. And if you're okay with that, well, crack on, love. Okay? It's distasteful, it's gross, and it's predatory. But you crack on. But don't come crying to me saying, oh, he took all my money. It's like, if there's that much of an age gap and you couldn't get a man in your home country, I'm not going to sit here feeling sorry for you. If you come to Egypt to be a predator, don't complain when you're preyed upon. And I'm just going to leave it there.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
It might sound funny, but it's true. Many women also travel looking for certain services. That's why a lot of men don't like girls' trips, because we all know how those usually end. And it's not just in Egypt. It also happens in Jamaica and the Dominican Republic. Countries where women go looking for younger men and end up becoming sugar moms. It's not that they suddenly become more beautiful, but a green card can make anyone look handsome in those countries. And many of those women are already hitting the wall, because let's be honest, the wall doesn't forgive.
I'm a worker, and one of the worst things about my job has to do with just the fact that I'm self-employed. So, although I love the independence and the freedom, it definitely has its challenges. Today, I had 2 people cancel their bookings very last minute. They actually completely forgot about their bookings until I messaged them being like, "Where are you?" And they were like, "Oh." So that's $1,200 gone. I just don't get me. Like, this is the reality of being self-employed. So, like, I don't want to be like, "Oh, boohoo, poor me." But just because it's the reality doesn't mean it's any less frustrating. And what's even worse is it's Saturday. It's like 7 p.m. It's the end of the week. So I am now behind. Like, I can't just pick up another booking this week. I'm behind. So yeah, I'm just a little down in the dumps at the moment. Thankfully, both of them, it was just a genuine mistake. They're not bad people. They're not bad clients. And both of them have done what they can to make amends. And I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, just I'm a grumpy, sad little girl today.
A real businesswoman. These are the same women who, after leaving behind a life of promiscuity, want a man to give them a ring and turn them into wives. You know what's saddest about all this? The number of comments from other women saying they want to do the same. Women who no longer want to be someone's wife and build a life together with a man, but would rather become the dumping ground for hundreds of men, as long as there's money involved. And the worst part, many of them are proud of it. But tell me, what do you think about the world's oldest profession? We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about women who travel to other countries looking for younger men? What's your opinion on so many young women choosing this kind of lifestyle? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.